And I thought, this isn't really my thing. I wanted to watch it for the writing part. There wasn't a whole lot of writing stuff going on. A lot of drug use, a lot of drinking, a lot of psychological games, a lot of resisting authority, a whole lot of gay sex, not a whole lot of writing stuff. So I was a little dissatisfied with that. But if you're into the gay sex, you may like that movie, Kill Your Darlings. Anyway, so now I didn't turn the movie off just because it had that. But it just wasn't my thing. I can't connect with it. It doesn't look to me like what nature wants me to understand. You know, it's weird to say that because I can look at an African American and try to understand how they see the world. I can look at a gay and try to understand how they see the world. But when I look at the behavior that looks unnatural to me, I can't. It's like science fiction to me. I'll be honest with you. It's like, oh, look at this thing. This is really different. You know, the way our society wants us to look at gay today is, hey, it's not different. It's just sexual preference. Forget about it. Forget about it. I still have to grow into that. I'm not along with the mainstream yet on that. I'm trying. I'm not actively trying. I am passively trying. I'm working on the philosophy in my head that there are species all across the world in which gay behavior happens, and no, that doesn't create offspring, but that doesn't make it absolutely unimportant in the grand scheme of things, because people can find happiness in being gay. I have nothing against that. I just cannot claim that I understand it. And this isn't the kind of show where I'm going to say, yeah, I get it. Yeah, sure. And I don't. So that's going to remain an open issue with me, trying to figure it out, trying to solidify it in my mind. But Apocales said earlier, he was talking about free speech, okay? Now, he's mentioned this in a few shows, and I thought it was worth addressing. I want to make a difference for him and for others that are thinking like him. There's a difference that you should make between what free speech is and the way we typically use it, and then allowing trolls to comment on your show. I see a difference there. Okay, here's the difference. Let's say I'm on a bulletin board. It's a wide open bulletin board. And someone comes on and trolls the fuck out of me for something I said on the bulletin board, or like they do on YouTube on the comments. Now, the person who says they are for free speech, but is really against it, thereby fitting Apocales' definition of hypocrite, will write to the administrator and say, I want you to ban and remove this person's comments. Okay? I get that. I know what that means. But when I'm producing something and someone comes in attacking me and it doesn't have any value, it's not entertaining, it's not funny, it's not whatever, it's my finished product. Even the chat. I can't make people say what I want them to say, but I do have the power. They've given us the power to delete the comments that are either an all-out attack or just don't add to the conversation. Now, most of the time I leave them. I mean, people coming in pretending to be a cat vagina on the sock account, saying dumb shit. I watch the chat response. I see if people are ignoring it or if it's annoying them or if they're spamming the chat. Then I'll block the shit. But there's also a few people I just don't like on Spreaker. I got them figured out in the way that I know people. And they're the kind of person I don't like. Now, I'm not going to mention any names here, but I'm certainly not going to let them come chat in my chat rooms. That's my product. That's part of my finished product. So they're going to have to come in under a sock, and I'll just keep blocking as much as I have to and deleting comments. Unless it gets, maybe a new technology comes out and they can do 5 sock accounts every 5 seconds. I can't keep up with that. I would probably let it go at that point, because then it becomes a cost-benefit ratio type of deal. And, I'm not going to mess with that, but we missed the Evil Show Wednesday. That's another thing. There was this thing going on, and I'm not getting into this fucking drama, but there's a lesson to be learned here. Long story short, RD and I do a show. It was on my program. RD now the volume was all fucked up because I didn't have my repeater set up correctly. Forget about it. I'm not going to explain it. So RD downloads the show, who is my Dutch friend, fixes the volume to the extent that he's able to. I think he used Audacity or something, and uploaded the show to his channel, BFC. Now, there were other people that are part of this BFC, Bastard FC Network, okay? Understand. And what I think Barco expected RD to do was to run that past him before he uploaded one of technically my shows. I don't need you guys putting my shows out there. It doesn't give me any joy, any feeling of extra fame. The reason RD did that is because he was the main guest on that show. And since he was part of Bastard FC, he put himself on there. But What I've been affiliated with some members of this group, not specifically Barco, I don't think, and I'm not going to mention names, is being friends with Guy Shea. I mean, that's why my show couldn't be on their channel. What a strange thing. What a very strange thing. And I was saying on the comments to Apocales' show that I wasn't even really friends with Guy Shea. But that's not true. We are friends. We don't talk much, but I think the guy has a lot of radio talent. But don't you think for a second that it would surprise me if Guy turns around and bites me in the ass on a show? That's okay. He's very edgy that way. He's gonna do it. It's like having a radio pit bull. We were talking about pit bulls the other night. You're gonna get bit once in a while. That's what happens. But he's also very entertaining. He is the Mike Tyson of podcasters right now, and you can't really mess with him. If he wants to fight you, he's going to beat you. I mean, that's just, he's determined in that way, and he's skilled in that way. And when you're determined and skilled in a certain way, you're going to get what you want if you're capable of accomplishing what it is you think you need to accomplish. So that's Guy. But he's also a veteran. And I tend to have a bit of favoritism toward veterans that are around my age. It just doesn't matter what color they are, doesn't matter what sex. Something about veterans around my age, I know we talk about and think about the same things, and we've kind of made the big promise. And the big promise is a big deal to me. Doesn't matter what you served in. Doesn't matter if bullets were flying past your head or you were in a climate-controlled laboratory. Doesn't matter to me. Something changes in the way I value you as an American when you sign the line to sign up and you are discharged honorably. That's a big deal to me. But, what's wrong with Guy? What, he gets mad at people? Apocales said earlier tonight that the people that Guy Shea's beaten up on are people that deserved it. So I'm not saying that because I don't know everybody he's beaten up on. And I know that he has some enemies that we don't share in common. But we do share a few enemies in common. And there's nothing wrong with that. It is very narrow to punish somebody for who they will not ignore. It is very narrow-minded. You know it is, if you just think about it. I'm getting punished in a very remote way, an indirect way, for not saying and behaving as if I hate Guy Shea. Forget about it. It's not going to happen. I mean, he would have to go way overboard, and you know what's overboard. Alan Wayne and I got into it one night, not a week or two ago. I mean, we were vicious at each other's throats. And it took me about 3 days, and I was like, sorry, Alan. I was in a shitty mood, because I knew he was a kind of a passive professional guy, and I wasn't trying to start something with him. The other people that I fought with, fuck them, because I've learned that they're penises through and through. And that's just the way they are. Some people might like that. I don't like it. If you're going to go after somebody, I think you should have a good reason for it. That's what I think. And if I'm one of your targets, I'm going to be looking at your reasoning. And if your reasoning is not real solid, I can't just say, hey, it's all fun and games. I'm going to say, fuck you. And I'm usually going to strike back. But at the very least, I'm going to get you out of my circles. So this thing with Apocales talking about free speech and saying that it's hypocrisy if you delete someone's comments on your show, I see that differently because it is your product. Now, what I'll do if I'm at a show where another guy is, which I have very few natural enemies in the internet world, then I'll just leave the show. And, I'm not going to sit there and watch him comment and watch him, strike at me or someone else or just be stupid the whole time where it's not even entertaining. I mean, when you're getting audience response, you can see it in the chat room. I'm not going to stay there. I'll leave and go to another show or go do something else. It's, that's not under my control. The only thing I can do is just leave. I mean, but blocking people, I think it's a very effective idea. And you're going to hear an actor here later who talks about, get them out of your life, get them out of your show. Why are you going to put up with that? And I think Apocales thinks it's a maturity thing, that it's you cannot say you enjoy freedom of speech and you want to protect it while also blocking someone's comments on your own show. Does that sound right to you? I don't think it does. It sounds like apples and oranges to me. It's just different. I can be a huge proponent of free speech while choosing not to let someone attack me where I can prevent that. why is that such a bad thing? I don't understand. But maybe it's a maturity thing. Maybe I just haven't reached that level of maturity yet where I'll just put up with what anybody says. I don't know. We'll see what the experts have to say about it. I got a clip I want to play for you. Very short clips tonight. Nothing long, okay? And this is what I was talking about a minute ago. This is featuring Will Wheaton, Felicia Day, and Tom Merritt. And they're talking about, it's VidCon, so they're basically talking about online videos. And a question is asked about trolls. So let's hear what they have to say about this real quick.
The comments is certainly sage advice, but every now and then you see one with just the biggest jerk face.
That's when you do it.
How do you find them?
This is the way I imagine someone who does that, and this is one of the few times I'll be serious here. A person who really loves a thing is less inclined to sit down and spend time going, this is really awesome, and I just wanted to say thank you for making a thing that I love. Thanks for being awesome. Because people tend to reflect to the world the way they feel about themselves. And they tend to see reflected in their entertainment and people that they...
And there it is. We were just talking about projection. He's latched onto it. Will Wheaton. If you don't know him, look him up. He's done a bunch of movies. He's on IMDb. And right now, he's not only talking about projection, but he's also going to give you another description of what drives people like this. And I think he's pretty accurate. And he's been in the business. When you're up there in fame, you're going to deal with these people left and right. I mean, little small fish like me, we get them once a month. They'll come fuck with us. So you have to either learn how to deal with them or find very effective ways of blocking them. And I think he's going to talk a little bit about that here.
Not necessarily admire, but are in a place to look up to. That they see in them, they see the things they like about themselves, and they see the places where they feel they're falling short. As a general, like just psychological rule, when someone's an on the internet like that, it's because they're sad, they're frustrated, they're lonely, they're unhappy. And when I see something like that, when it's directed at me, my general reaction is to say, I really hope you feel better now. And I sometimes do that. Or sometimes if someone's really stupid, I love it when someone yells at me about grammar but uses the incorrect form of gore. Or when somebody is a giant to one of my friends, then I sort of come in and set them on fire.
Unless you did it literally.
But working on it. See, if you weren't in the box. But really, I mean, honestly, what you have to just think about, like, a lot of those comments come from 14, 15-year-old boys or adults who have never matured past that way. And they're at a point in their life where the world is weird and scary and they're frustrated and they're awkward and they don't fit in a place and they're just angry. And they don't even know why they're angry. So they see a person doing something awesome and they're like, why can't I be awesome? F you for being awesome. And that's what they do. And honestly, the best thing to do is downvote the comment, don't reply to it. If you're a moderator, delete it, and then go on with your life. It's just too easy to get hung up in that sarlacc pit of hate.
I try to avoid it. There's been a couple videos I've made.
You do not.
I do. I got really depressed a couple weeks ago because of a certain video that people started calling me not a gamer. And I don't care. You can call me a dog. You can say you won't have sex with me. That's fine. You probably won't. I don't mind that.
Probably fun.
About like you're not a gamer, you're fake, like that's when I get pissed off because then you don't know jack about me, dude. But I inevitably, when I get the ugliest comments, I click on their profile and I'm like, oh, this guy doesn't make anything. So like it's a dude who doesn't make anything and they don't know what it's like to be vulnerable and create. But at the end of the day, if you don't create and if you're not vulnerable, then you're just a drone, in a sense. You're not really sharing what's special about yourself. Because I always like to say, if I told everybody to write a paragraph about a cat, every single paragraph would be different. And that's what's beautiful about us. We're all different. And the fact we have the opportunity to share that is going to make us vulnerable and invite people to hate on us. But at the end of the day, we shared something. And if you think about anybody you've ever admired in history, and think about them getting YouTube comments like that, thank God they didn't stop. So just don't stop.